Welcome to the Waterfowl Den. My name is RD Reynolds, and I want to welcome you to the YouTube Live and the podcast. So, if you streaming this on any of the streaming apps, go check out RD Reynolds Outdoors on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go subscribe to RD Reynolds Outdoor on any place that you stream podcasts. Today, our episode is brought to you by Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Also, new to the channel, Kicks Industries, most people would know them as Kick Chotes, has partnered up with the channel. I am doing a series right now on Kick's butt chokes. I got a ton of ammunition, shotgun shells that I am testing from 2-inch, 3-inch, 3.5s, different brands of ammunition, different chokes out of different guns. Go check that out. There's other choke related episodes also on the channel, but I appreciate y'all tuning in, and today let's get started. Welcome to the channel. My name is RD Reynolds. Today we got a great one on today. I hope you enjoy it. So today we got Mark Larson from YouTube channel. We're going to talk trapping, hunting, fishing, and who knows else. So welcome to the channel, Mark.
Thanks for having me, RD.
So who is Mark?
Oh, there's a lot of different Marks, I suppose, but I don't know. I'm basically just a small town guy, and I mean, I grew up in a very small town. Grew up trapping and hunting, fishing, everything like that, as most kids, a lot of kids used to. Not so much anymore, but I just grew up in the outdoors. We didn't have, video games or TV or anything like that. So we were outside all the time playing and hunting and doing everything else, so.
I know how that is. I grew up outside too. Magnolia trees. We're climbing in them and throwing them as hand grenades.
All right.
So where are you now?
I live in northern Illinois. I live 13 miles from the town that I grew up in. So
I heard that.
I mean, I haven't really moved much from where I started. So,
hey, when you find a spot, stay there, right?
No, I don't know. If I could leave Illinois, I really would. Trust me, I'm not. It's my job that's kept me here this long. I've been with the same job for a long time. So, and I'm hoping to retire here in about another 10 years. So I might as well finish that off.
I'd like to move somewhere that's got some waterfowl, a lot of waterfowl.
Yeah, I'd like to move out west. I love elk hunting, being in the mountains and everything like that. So I'm probably going to move out west when I do leave here.
Yeah, them. I love watching the video of them people elk hunting, and to see them and to call them, that all looks like fun, except the part where they're walking like 20 miles and then have to carry that elk out on horses and everything else.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you, it's a fever, just like anything else. Trapping, turkey hunting, duck hunting, goose hunting, whatever, waterfowl hunting. It's a fever. If you get bit by it, it's going to be with you forever.
Yeah, they definitely take some awesome shots too. But so, give us a breakdown on the history of. Let's start with the YouTube channel. Like, what made you start that, and then we'll move over into the history of like trapping and your furs and stuff like that.
That's a pretty cool story. I started out, I really didn't know much about YouTube at all, except for I was looking up trap. I got back into trapping probably 4 or 5 years ago, coyote trapping specifically, because we were having a lot of trouble where we hunt with predation and everything like that. So I don't know. I got on there and started watching everything I could on trapping. And there was this one guy, and he's pretty big now in trapping, is Trapper Jay, which most people, I'm sure a lot of people on YouTube know who he is. But he's down in Missouri, and so every day when I get off work, I didn't know anything about subscribing or thumbs up or comments or anything. I type in his name on my phone, see because he was putting out a video almost every day of what he was catching, and I started watching him every day and trying to do what he was doing. And then I talked to him, I got a hold of him, and I mean, we have met. But I started talking to him and on the phone, and I said, "Man, this is pretty cool what you do." And I said, I wouldn't mind maybe trying to do a YouTube channel. You know, I got a GoPro and this and that. And I was like, how do you get a YouTube channel? And he goes, "Well, if you got a Google account, you already have one." He said, "All you gotta do is make a video and post it." And so that's exactly how it started. And then I see Boxy Outdoors is in here.
Yeah, he commented.
A very good friend of mine, and I'll tell you, like when I first started in it, he was doing a live every Sunday night and showcasing channels. If you had under, if you had under 100 or 1,000, I can't remember. I was way under 100. I had like 30 subscribers, and he showcased my channel, and I mean, I gained quite a few there, and then through the community and with his help and everybody in the community's help, you know, I mean, just meeting everybody, and it's just grown from there. That's how I got started.
People just don't know how hard it is to actually get subscribers. The traffic is there. Get somebody to actually hit that subscribe button is so hard. And
I think a lot of it's like when I first started, I had no idea. I didn't know nothing, you know, and you hear a lot of people at the end of their videos saying that it's free and please subscribe, give me a thumbs up.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people that just look at what they want to see, you know, click, you know, they Google what they're looking for, and then that's it, you know, then they're gone. They don't know that it's free. Maybe, I don't know. They don't know that it helps you.
Also, like you said, if you had a Google account, you had a YouTube, you know, let's say 10 years ago, a lot of people had Android phones, and now Apple has.
I still have an Android phone. What do you mean, a lot of people? What do you mean used to?
I done switched over. So I mean, I'm over here in the Apple world now. But you know, Apple people typically would not have a Google, a Gmail, or a Google
I do remember
account.
that. Like when I first started, there was friends of mine that had iPhones, and they couldn't figure out how to subscribe to my channel because they didn't have a Google account.
And and I know you comment a lot on my videos too, but after creating a channel and trying to grow, now when I go to watch something, like how do I fix something on an F-250 and somebody's got the video, I hit that thumbs up and I comment to help their algorithm now, because I've learned so much.
Oh, me too.
I mean, just watching does help somebody, but when you comment or you hit that thumbs up, you really do help them.
Yeah. And I try to comment just as much as I can, or on every video that I watch, just so they know that I was there and I watched it, you know. And then I hope they come back and watch some of mine too. But hello, Mark's Trapping Outdoors. Thank you for that, Boxy. I really appreciate it.
So let's talk about the history of, like, you started in trapping, and then you said you kind of got away from it and got back into it.
Yeah, I was a kid. I mean, I started trapping very young. Loved trapping. I mean, from very young age. Used to be a couple guys in my town. The town was only 150 people at the most, and they had one small tavern. So on the weekends, I'd ride my bike down to the tavern, and there's two guys that trapped. So their trucks would be sitting there, after they got done checking traps, they go in there and have a pop or a beer or whatever they're doing. And so I'd drive my bike down there and I'd look over the back of their tailgates to see what they caught that day, and be pretty cool. And I'd go in there, they'd buy me a pop and a candy bar and sit there and tell me about the trapping. And, you know, it was just, that's basically what, and then that's what I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to start trapping.
So I know you hunt also, right?
Yeah, I hunt a lot of things,
so
everything pretty much.
What is your favorite thing to hunt?
It's pretty tough. I mean, I want to say elk, but I don't get to do it as much. I mean, I've only, you know, got to do that probably 5 times, but I love being in the mountains. I love hunting elk. I mean, I love eating elk more than anything, but if, you know, it's going to sound weird, but I mean, turkey's probably my favorite. I mean, because I can do that every year here in Illinois, and I have a lot of success. I've shot a lot of turkeys. Love calling them. I mean,
so
I love
what turkeys do y'all have? Y'all got Easterns?
Easterns, yes.
Okay. I know somewhere up in that way is a crossbreed of the two turkeys, and I'm not sure where that.
It'd probably be over west. I would guess that'd be over west in like Nebraska, maybe. I know they got the Merriams over there.
You know, I didn't even know till I think maybe this year, you know, there's so many different turkeys, and they call it the 5 round turkeys, and they all got different names of what people
for the Grand Slam, yeah.
Right. Yeah, the Grand Slam. Now I'm like, man, I want to do that.
So I would love to do it.
That's on the list. So yeah, I mean,
you have to do some traveling. I mean, you got to get to Florida. I think Florida is the only place you can get the Osceola.
Yeah.
And then like Texas, maybe New Mexico. I'm not sure where all you can get the Rio Grandes.
Yeah.
And then out west you can get the Merriams, and like right here you can get the Easterns.
Yeah, that's what we got too. The Easterns.
Then they got the pilated ones. I think are in maybe South America or Hawaii. I'm not even sure where they're at.
So how was your turkey season?
It was good. I shot a nice time. I mean,
really,
I had a great turkey season actually. It was up and down. I mean, one morning I got up to turkey hunting. There was snow on the ground. Next day it's 70 degrees. You know, I mean, it was weird.
That's how it was here too, and I think that had a lot to do with it. You would get out there and you would call or something, you know, make an owl sound. They would gobble, 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 and as soon as they hit the ground, nothing all season. And I know, talking to a bunch of other people and people in Georgia too, they said that's how it was. I mean, saw a ton of hens, a lot of jakes, and we're not sure if it was the weather. Like you said, it would go from, you know, you having to wear a jacket to the next day in t-shirt. And I mean, I don't know if it was the weather or what some people are saying, you know, there's just too many jakes and the toms are getting tired of getting beat up by them.
Yeah.
So,
like Boxy said, it was a pretty intense hunt. You'll have to watch it. I had one he almost came in the back of the blind with me. He was literally at the back of my blind gobbling. I mean, they came all the way across the field. There was 2 toms, and there was one. I mean, I could see him through the little gap in the door behind me.
Wow.
Then I had to switch positions and shoot out the other window. But yeah, he was right behind me. Then he gobbled. I mean, it was loud on the camera.
So what's your favorite thing to trap?
Well, mainly coyotes. I mean, that's mainly what I trap for now. But then this season I started trapping beavers. And then I caught my first 2 otters. I did catch my first badger this year too. But I mean, beaver, I had so much fun. It's a lot more work because you're in deep water and waders and everything like that. And they're heavy and you got to carry them out. Like the coyote trapping, I'm usually can drive right up to the sets. But this last season, I mean, it was so muddy, I couldn't even drive my Jeep. I had to use my Ranger, my side-by-side, and it was harder work, the coyote trapping with the mud. But, man, when I caught them beavers and the otters, man, I had a blast.
I know. I watched your video, and you were
like, "Oh, man, that was so much fun." I don't know if I could say –
it felt like I was there with you. I mean, you was like, "Yeah." Woo. I mean, it's like –
I was having fun. That was fun. They're way easier to catch than coyotes, I'll tell you. But, man, it was fun.
So I obviously don't trap. So I'm looking at, we're going to go from my perspective to your perspective of, I know nothing. So what is it like to get started trapping? I mean, like, obviously what I need. I mean, I know every state would be different per licenses, so we're not probably going to go that far, but like,
Well, and every state has different regulations on trap size too, of what you can use on above water or on land.
so let's
But
talk about it. Let's talk about like what you have learned, what you have like stay away from this kind of brand, or this is better, or is there like places to go for like starter people?
there are, I mean, if you go to some of the trapping supply places, like I know Duke, I use mostly Duke traps. I know they do have starter packages. I know North American Trapper. I know he's got a YouTube channel. They have starter packages for specific species, like say raccoon. They may have some dog proofs and different bait and lure. Coyote, they may, you may have different species related starting packages, but it's not an easy sport to get into. It's pretty costly. And that's probably why we don't have a lot of younger trappers doing it, because the reward isn't there anymore. I mean, when we first started trapping, when I did back when I was a kid, man, I was making a lot of good money. Now, I would say an average season cost me way over $1,000 just to trap. I mean, I make no money. I mean, even, the fur prices are so low and the gas prices are so high that, yeah, I make no money. It costs me a lot of money to do it, but I love to do it, but
Right.
To try to get somebody into it and tell them, hey, go buy a bunch of traps, spend about $1,000 on lure, bait, and waders, whatever, gas, everything like that. And you're not going to get any money back. See what I'm saying? I mean, It's hard to get people to buy into that.
That's about like duck hunting in South Carolina, we got ducks, but it's just like you happy if you see one or two, and that's got about the same return on investment. So what would be the easiest thing to start trapping?
Oh, I would say raccoons.
Raccoons?
Yeah, because they're everywhere. Because they're
No.
most places they're not paying anything for them, and that's why we have such a problem with them. And plus, most people if they want to get into trapping, if they're turkey hunting or whatever like that, they're going to want to trap the raccoons on their property to keep them from raiding the nests, even the ducks,
right.
Everything like that. The raccoons, the possums, the skunks, everything like that. They're going to want to try to take care of them nest raiders, even though they're not worth money, but they're probably the easiest to catch, I would say.
Yeah, we call them trash pandas.
Yep,
And
yep.
I catch them around my chicken coops, and I take them to a guy, and I mean, he loves to eat them. Like, I got another friend that runs dogs, and he literally will take that man a raccoon a day, and I don't know how he eats them, but he will barbecue them up, and as much as you bring him, the more he eats. I mean, he just
Yeah, I
loves
eat
raccoons.
raccoon. I don't have a problem eating raccoon.
Yeah, he
I
loves
don't
them.
do it as much or that often, but I mean, I have ate it. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm. He says he's gonna cook me some, and it's gonna taste just like barbecue, but he must be eating it all because I ain't seen none yet.
Ted wants to know how long it took me to grow my beard. I think I'm over 3 years now. I don't know, man. It's been a while. I'd have to go back and look at my first videos, and see when I started growing it, I guess.
Have you got any of them caught in a trap yet?
My beard?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Got my
Lean
hand caught
over.
in it before, a few of them, but.
So we talked about some costs. What is the biggest cost? Is it? I know waders, but I mean, some people would have waders, duck hunting and stuff. But is it the cages?
I would say traps are probably the biggest cost if you're going to buy new. But I mean, you could maybe go to a swap meet, go to somebody and maybe older trappers getting out of it, and or a garage sale, or an auction. I've bought some at auctions when somebody died, and you might get some good deals there. Or your trapping associations. If you go to a convention, some people sell used traps there. I mean, It's just
talking about used traps. There's maintenance on them traps, and I
right.
know I'm pretty sure I saw a video. I'm pretty sure I saw it on yours where you were doing the maintenance on them, wasn't you? Like
Yeah, I just
cleaning
got done
them.
doing that last weekend on all of mine, or my
So
coyote traps. Anyway.
how often during a season or of a year do you do that?
Just once at the beginning of the season, like Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. I had them all out on the driveway. I got a video coming up, but pressure washed them all off to get all the old mud and dirt and anything loose off of them. Got them all pressure washed. Then I bring them in the garage and check the pan tension. Put new anchors on. If, I break a lot of wolfang anchors off, pulling them out of the ground sometimes. Or sometimes they're bent. Sometimes the dogs are bent. Check. Just go through them. I go through every one of them but once, and then once they were done and they're ready to go, I took them and I dipped them, and now they're hanging outside. They'll be hanging outside till to air out until trapping season starts.
Right, and I think that was the video I watched before of you dipping them.
Yeah.
So how many traps you say you got?
I think I got, after I just got done, because I bought a couple new ones, I think I got 62 coyote traps.
How many are you running through a week?
Once I start setting them, I'll probably have over 40 sets out all the time.
Wow.
Hopefully.
That's some dedication right there, ain't it?
Well, yeah, it's dedication because you're set. You're tied to it. You got to check them every day. And in Illinois, we got a 24-hour check, so I got to check them every day when I get off work or in the morning on the weekends. And if I got to go somewhere, I'm gonna have to shut it down.
Does your state have to have like a tag or anything associated with them traps?
Yep, I got tags on it.
I know some of the shows.
That was another thing I just did this weekend. When I was going through them, there was a lot of them missing tags, so I had put new tags on all the ones that were missing.
So you got to make them, or is them supplied by the
state?
I
buy them. I buy them. They're printed they're copper and they're stamped.
I got you. Yeah, I've seen some shows where the game warden's walking around and he knows a lot of the traps, and they talking about illegal baiting and stuff like that, and they watch them. But it's crazy how them people know. Them game wardens pick up on brands like you said. Oh, so and so only uses this brand, so they pay attention. They pretty smart people too.
Oh, they're very smart.
So
what do they say? There was that show, How to Catch a Thief or whatever. Because game wardens usually took courses on that or did trapping at one point in their life, and they know what they're looking for.
That's right. So, have you noticed with the coyotes, like the more you trap, the more the population gets? Because that's what I hear a lot about coyotes, that a female knows how much population is in that area, and she can regulate the cubs or whatever.
Yeah, they do that. They regulate by food and population, and if there's too many coyotes, she won't have as many pups. If there's not as many, she might. But the good thing about trapping is, I'm catching them when they're breeding. They start breeding here in January, and our season goes to February 15th. So she don't know what the population is when and if I catch her after she's bred, then it doesn't matter.
Right. So have you teamed up with like hunting clubs to let you come on their land to try to help with the deer? Deer hunters not wanting them. Does people
not really so much here? Mostly it's mostly farm ground here. There's a lot of farmers, and we have a lease that we hunt on that's 300 acres. So I do some trapping there, and and it's helping. But mostly it's farmers, and there's no one here in Illinois or where I am located right here anyway. I've never had anyone tell me no, that I can't trap their property, because there is not hardly anybody else. There's nobody else doing it besides me in this small area here in the farmland. I'm probably traveling a 30-mile radius, but I've never had anybody tell me, no, you can't trap our property.
You see any dents in them? Like when you're heavily trapping, do you start seeing dents and move to a different location?
So. I want to say yes on that, because 2 years ago I had the best season ever. I caught 31. And then last year, I trapped hard, but it was so muddy and the weather was terrible, and I only caught 19. So I'm hoping that's partly because I caught so many the year before. I don't know. It's like Twinkies and cockroaches. You're never going to get rid of them. That's what's going to be left if something happens. But
yeah. I don't know now. Them Twinkies don't taste as good as they did when I was a kid. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. Them Twinkies don't taste as good when I was a kid.
I couldn't tell you the last time I had one, so I don't
know. So after you trap them, what are you doing with them? How are you prepping them and then going into sales? And what else are you doing with them?
Well, most of the time, I just bring them home and skin them and freeze them, And then so if I was going to tan them, I'd probably still freeze them, because it's just, you get off work, run traps till dark, get home, skin, and then it's, time to either try to get something to eat and a shower, and then maybe watch something on YouTube or whatever, and then it's time to go to bed, and then do it all over again the next day. But last year, like the coons, we're bringing $0. I don't keep them. Maybe a few to tan if somebody's wanting one. Coyotes, same deal. About the only thing I sold last year were the beaver, because they're the only thing worth anything. The otters, one's in the taxidermist shop. The first badger I caught, it's in the taxidermist shop. The second otter I caught's in the freezer. I'm going to tan that here pretty soon. I'll never get rid of an otter for sure. The beavers, I sold all of them, and I did pretty well. It's mostly because of the show Yellowstone is why the beaver sales are going up, because they're made. That's what Stetson hats are made out of, and everybody wants a Stetson hat since the show Yellowstone came out, and then beaver prices went up.
Really. I haven't watched that show yet. The wife is she's on a different series, so.
You haven't watched anything of Yellowstone at all?
No, I know what it is.
You must be the only one on the planet, I'm guessing.
I've been up under a rock. No, I know what it is. I know what the show, but no, we haven't sat down to start the season.
It's a good show, or I think it's a good show.
Yeah, it's no use to start it and then skip a week or two, and the dedication ain't there yet. So how long does it take you to skin out a coyote?
Oh, it just depends. At the beginning of the season, it probably takes me 20, 30 minutes, and then once I get my habits back, I can probably do one in 15, 20.
So what are they doing with the coyotes? What are they making out of the coyotes?
Well, what they used to make out of them, there was a coat company, I think it was called Canada Goose, and they had coat or coyote fur around the hood.
Right.
So that's where we were selling all our coyotes before, mostly. We'd sell them to our buyers, and then that's who was buying all the coyotes. Well, then PETA bought that company and said, we're not going to have any more coyote fur on our coats. And that's why the coyote market crashed.
Wow.
So basically, I'm either tanning them and selling them that way, or there's no market. Year before, that year I caught 31, I had one that had mange. I took them into the fur buyer. I kept them all in the freezer, had them all rolled up nice, and got them out, thawed out, had them all brushed out, looked really nice. I had 30 coyotes that I took. 8 of them they wouldn't buy because they had a little bit of red in them. I think you commented on right. You just commented on that video. You just watched it this week. No. The ones with red they won't buy at all. So there was 8 of them. So they bought 22 I got $110. I got $5 a piece.
And what was crazy about that video was, I was watching it, and I wonder if I can pull it up real quick. I watch you drive to the place, and I'm seeing you unload them, and I'm like, what in the world is this truck? And I keep seeing you putting them in a hole, and then the next thing I know, there's a guy up there, and I'm like, man, was he
he's
in
in the
there the
back
whole
of the
time?
truck.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I didn't even know what it was. So that was very interesting. I mean, it almost looked like you just pulled up in like a neighborhood meeting spot or something.
No, that truck that was from Gronwald Fur and Wool. They're out of Forest in Illinois, which is about 40 miles from me here, north of me. But they were scheduled to pick up about 20 miles south of me that day, so that's when I took them. This year, I had to drive to Foreston and to sell my beavers, but it is what it is.
So
I told that guy, he said $5, and he told me about that coat company, and he said I can't sell what I can't, or I can't buy what I can't sell.
Right.
I said, well, you don't have to worry about seeing me come here next year with any coyotes. Trust me.
I mean, that just hurts your feelings, because I was watching it all the way up to the point.
Oh, I did a lot of work, man.
And then because you're hanging them out, you're drying them, and you make a great point on closing, cutting the power off of the garage door opener. And I chuckled about that. I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. And then I'm watching it. I'm like, and then you hold up the check, and I was like, man, I feel let down. Like this whole video, I'm like, man, he's gonna do good. He's gonna do good. And then you get to the end, and I'm like, man, if I feel let down, I can only imagine what you feel. And you had to do all the work.
Right. It was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. And going into it, when I went down there to sell them, I mean, I was thinking already on the top of my head, I'll let them go for $10 a piece. And then when he said $5, I'm like, what am I going to do? Take them. Yeah.
I mean, because you open the refrigerator, you're like, this is the way I open the refrigerator. I'm like, he was like, yeah, this is like my beer refrigerator. And I'm like, there is absolutely no way you're opening that every single time. I mean, it was like holding back a wall of water.
I had them all froze, and then I hung them up on I hung them all up and let them dry, thaw out, and then brushed them all out. I was looking at them. I'm like, man, I got a hell of a nice looking bunch of coyotes here. This should bring good money here. And no.
So when you tanning them, what's the difference in that? Obviously, when you're taking the furs to him, is there like some fat still on it? I mean, what's the difference?
On all of those were all just green, what they call green skinned. I mean, I just skin them and then roll them up and freeze them. If you're gonna flesh them and put them on a board and dry them, then that's a whole different deal. Then you don't have to freeze them. Then they'll be preserved for a certain amount, as long as it's cool enough, because you'll scrape all that fat off, and then you'll turn them skin side out and then let them dry. And then after so long, you'll turn them back so the fur side is out. So then they dry like that, so you can still turn it. A lot of people do that, but it wasn't worth my time. I mean, for $5, especially if I would have fleshed all those and dried them, oh my God, I would have been really, really upset.
So what you got behind you? Obviously there's a few coyotes on there, but are them what you working on or already finished?
No, they're all done. They're all tanned. Actually, what's behind me here is like, I can turn it, like starting over there. Let me see here if I can, that coyote on over to here, and then all the way over to this side. Mm-hmm. Those coyotes, that was my first best season. I caught 11. My goal was 10 that year, and I actually ended up catching 11. That was my first best season, really. There's only 10 up there because one had mange, so it's not up there. And then I caught those fox. But that's why those are never going to leave here. I mean, that was my first best season. I tanned every one of them myself. I mean, that was a ton of work, and so those will never leave. The one in the middle here, that's a coyote, or that's a wolf. That's actually from my friend Paul Anzac. I don't know. Do you watch the show Mountain Men?
No.
Okay, well he's on the show Mountain Men on the History Channel, and that's a Montana wolf right there. And the otter next to it, I just bought that on that the auction that we had for Al's Outdoors.
Right.
And then the bobcat next to that, I just bought that too on that auction. That came from Trapper J, and it's signed. But
is that a fox on the other side, you say?
Yeah, that's a fox that I trapped and I tanned, and there's a raccoon that I trapped and tanned.
So do y'all have mostly the red foxes?
Yeah, I've never caught a gray fox. I've never even seen a gray fox here.
Really?
I've seen them. Other guys, huh?
We got both.
Yeah, I've never seen one myself, live anyway.
Occasionally, you'll see both of them run across the front yard.
I would love to get them. Because I think they're even prettier.
Yeah, they're quick. I got a pond in the front yard, but you probably seen it in a bunch of videos. I'm pretty sure that they just run in there for water and something to eat too. So,
right.
But yeah, we'll occasionally see like a gray, and I mean that joker. I think the gray is more skittish around here, at least around my house. The gray is more skittish. The red one, sometimes when you take the dogs out, they'll just be moping along, ain't in no hurry. But them gray ones, it's just like quick. So,
and I've heard they can climb trees and everything.
I've
heard they're kind of almost like a cat, a gray fox. I've heard.
I don't know. Like I said, I ain't got into any of that. So when you're tanning them, you're tanning the backside, right?
Yeah. I got a couple here. I got a fox here that I just got done not too long ago. I mean, you're talking about the backside. You're talking about the skin.
Correct.
Yeah. You're turning that into leather.
How long of a process is that?
I mean, from start to finish, I can probably do one in 2 weeks. I mean, because I got another coyote here that I just got done. Or I mean, I shouldn't say just got done, but not too long ago. I mean, I did a batch of 3 coyotes. I mean, so it's like there's the leather side of it. But I mean, you first start out, you got to get it skinned. Then usually, like I said, I freeze them, take them out of the freezer, flush it, get it flushed completely, salt it heavily, turn it skin or fur side back out, let it stay in the salt for 24 hours. Next day, scrape all the old salt off, salt it again, roll it back up. The next day, take it out of that, scrape all that old salt off, and then you make a what they call a pickle with salt, and I use citric acid. There's other companies that sell different kinds of acid. You want your pH around 1.5, and then hey Jeremy, good to see you, buddy. And then so you'll let them sit in that pickle bath for at least 3 days. 4 is better. You can sit as long as you keep that pH at 1.5 to 2, somewhere in there, but you want it 1.5 is better. But you can leave them in there forever. But if you put them in straight water and your pH is less than or over that, then your hair will start falling out. But put them in that pickle, and then take them out, and then you let them dry, start to partially dry, and then that's when you put the tanning solution on and let that sit for like overnight or 16 hours or whatever. And then you turn them back out, skin side out, and then you got to break them and stretch them, and It's a pretty good process. I mean, once you start the process, though, there's no stopping. I mean, it's like once I start a hide, I can't start it and then I ain't got no time to work on it this week and then go back to it next week. Once that process starts, it's day to day.
That is definitely some dedication there because, like you said, you can't stop it.
No.
Does the coyotes and furs and stuff like that, does like on ducks, when you're taxiderming ducks, if you leave any fat you got to bleed through, do you have bleed through on fat too if somebody left some on, or is it totally different?
I mean, because I'm washing every one of them, and everything. And when I skin them, if you got any blood on them, I usually wipe it off or whatever, and
So
and then
it's going through a wash cycle too.
Yeah. So you don't really want if you're not going to freeze it, no, you don't want that because that blood and any fat or whatever. I mean, you'll have slippage. You'll lose fur. But so the best thing is to skin it right away and get it in the freezer if you're not going to do anything else. But don't let it lay around because then you'll have slippage.
Yeah, that's crazy that the fur just starts falling off.
Mm-hmm. It's bacteria. It's it's rot basically. That's why if you put them in that pickle bath with the acid and keep that pH below 1 or below 2, it kills all the bacteria. That it will not rot.
That's interesting. So, like I said, I'm looking at this from a new standpoint. Never heard of that, so that's very interesting.
There's a lot of great videos on YouTube. I mean, way better than me for sure. that will explain it a lot better. I mean, Coon Creek, he's here in Illinois. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he does a lot of trapping and fishing and boating and everything. But he's over 100,000 subscribers. He's probably one of the best fur handlers I've ever seen.
Wow. Do you have people that you sell to? Like, do you occasionally somebody on your YouTube channel be like, "Hey, I'm looking for this," and then you sell to them? Is people reaching out direct?
Oh, I don't know that I've ever sold it to anyone on YouTube. I did donate one for for that auction for Al. I did donate one of my tan coyotes for that. I do. This fox here is actually for a woman that's on YouTube. I won't say her name right now, but whenever she gets moved, then that's going to her. But I don't think I've ever sold one actually to anyone on YouTube. Mostly just people around here or people. A lot of people want their own stuff, Like I'll tell them what I want for one of mine, and they'll be like, "Well, that seems a little high to me." But they have no problem if they bring their own coyote, and I tell them more than that. They have no problem putting their money down for me to tan it because it's theirs,
Right. Well, that makes sense. I mean, it's kind of like a taxidermist. I mean, you can buy a duck offline too, but you have sentimental like these ducks and geese behind me. I was there. You got that moment to share with it. So I mean, I can understand that.
Like this otter and this bobcat behind me, I probably paid well over twice what they're worth. But I mean, it was for a benefit auction, so it is what it is. It was for. That's why I bought them. I mean, I wasn't buying them because what they were worth. You know what I'm saying? Right.
I mean, they look really cool still hanging up back there. So, I mean, on the cool factor, let's go ahead and give you a 10.
A lot of people like them back there. I know that. I mean, when I first started redoing this basement down here, I mean, that was what started first. I tanned all those hides and had them hung up there. And then I didn't like the cement wall, the white wall, and then there was a pipe from the other bathroom that ran across the ceiling. So that's why I ended up doing the pallet wall, and I brought it out from the wall and covered that pipe. And then I thought that looked so much better than I did every wall down here. And
yeah, I seen that process online. It was like one wall, another wall. Them projects start off little and they always grow bigger.
I just got done with the doors. That video comes out tomorrow. I put sliding barn doors. I split the basement in half, and so now the bar is completely it's one one spot, and then down there you can't see where I'm like doing the tanning and all the other stuff that's stored down there. So, so now it's complete, and I got the ceiling done. I do have 2 lights over there that a company sent me to do a review on. So I got to put those up, and that'll be probably the last video for down here. I think it'll be completely done.
So what's one animal in your area that you haven't trapped yet that you want to trap? And then what would be something in some other area that's still on your bucket list?
The only thing I haven't trapped here in Illinois is because it's so hard to get a tag for one. I've never caught a bobcat. That's the only thing I haven't caught in Illinois that we can legally trap in Illinois. I got to apply for a tag, and it's hard to get one. You got to apply for it before the season, and then if you do get one, then you can trap a bobcat. But there's not as many bobcats here, especially where I live. I mean, I'd have to go to a different area, Illinois probably, but that's one of the things that I really, really want to catch is a bobcat of my own. I got a bobcat hide over here, and I got another one over there that I bought, but I would really, really love to have my own. I mean, if I catch a bobcat, it's going to get mounted for sure. But
right. So what are you using for? While are you talking about bobcats? We still got to do your favorite from another state. But how would you bait different per the animals? I mean, okay, you would think that a bobcat would get in. You would just have to release it?
Yeah, you'll have to release it in Illinois. If you don't have a tag, yes, you have to release it.
I mean, I watch some coyote people. They a lot of people just say you just go up to a coyote and start yelling at them like a dog, and they kind of hunker down. But
oh, I don't never yell at them.
I don't know about that, man.
I usually just drive up. I mean, sometimes they'll bark. Sometimes, I mean, usually they settle down pretty quick when you walk up. They know they're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, but I would think a bobcat would definitely be different.
Yeah, I don't want to tangle with one. I don't want to ever have to let one go. Trust me. I don't want to have to ever let one go.
So are you using different baits, or is it just across the board?
No, I buy all my baits and lures from different manufacturers. I mean, it's not a huge secret. I mean, if you watch any trapping videos out there, I mean, most people got good baits. I mean, I use probably 5 different baits, 4 or 5 different lures.
But you're not making your own?
No.
That's interesting.
No.
I would have thought that, they would like, so what's in the baits?
A lot of them are probably beaver based or muskrat meat based. I know a lot. The one that I use out of Indiana, out of Hoosier Trapper, is a bobcat meat based. A lot of them got a little bit of skunk essence in them, or there's gland lures, from the specific animals that you're trapping. If you're trapping coyotes or fox, they have coyote gland lure, fox gland lure that work great in like during the mating season. You can buy urine. I don't use much urine, coyote urine or fox urine or anything, or bobcat urine. I don't use hardly any urine, just because, I mean, I've caught so many without it. Why waste the money? And a lure manufacturer himself actually told me, it was Jeff Dunlap. He's up in Michigan. He sells all his own baits and lures to everybody. I mean, he sells them all over. I mean, they're probably one of the top brand lures out there, one of them. And I met him out in Iowa, and I got a bunch of my bait and lure from him. That's what I wanted to use. And I asked him about urine. He goes, if I was you, I wouldn't even use it, because he said most people put preservatives in that urine, to keep it from going bad. And it's mostly a salt base. He said the deer, it'll attract deer, and they'll set your traps off. So, I mean, he was selling this stuff and told me, don't do it. So
that makes sense. So is it like refrigerated, or is it freezer based?
The urine?
No, like most of you baits.
No, I don't refrigerate them. You wouldn't want them in your refrigerator, trust me. Most of them, when they show up, and any trapper, if you watch their videos, if they show a video of their baits and lures, usually the UPS driver, the FedEx driver wants to kill them. I'm not kidding you. It's bad. I mean, you get the box, you can smell. It smells like the skunk lives in that truck.
Oh man, my wife does a lot of Poshmark, and you know, she put some boxes on the front porch the other day, and the mailman came and got it, and they were 3 big old boxes, and the Ring doorbell called it, and I sent her a text, and I'm like, "Yep, he's hating you right now." So,
well, I'm serious. Every trapper I know, I've seen them do videos, and they're like a guy I know in Pennsylvania, Livermore Outdoors. He just did a video like last week or whatever. All his baits and lures showed up, and his wife opened the door and told the guy, "Just bring them in," you know. And he said, "No, you don't want this in your house."
So basically, do you order them, and then as soon as they show up, you dingo put them out? I mean,
I'll order them probably next month. I don't like to order them any sooner than I have to. I mean, because I want it as fresh as possible. Because any of them that got the like skunk essence in them or whatever, you know, some of that stuff mellows out over time. I want the freshest I can get. No, I don't just go put them out. I mean, I'll keep them out in my shed or whatever in a cool, dark place, but I won't put them in my garage or my house or my refrigerator.
So that's some real musk for me in Cologne right there, huh?
Oh, it's, you know, and then when I got them in my trapping bag, I trap out of my Jeep, and I took the back seat out, so it's like a flatbed back there with all my traps and all my stuff. And there's people won't ride with me during trapping season. I mean, they will walk by my Jeep at work in the parking lot and go, "What in the hell is in there?" Yeah, the people won't ride with me, which is fine with me. It makes me happy.
Well, I guess that rules out trapping for me, because you know I get that weak stomach of
I'm just used to it, I guess.
I've been threw up on the bait.
if I can smell it, I know it's good. If somebody else can smell it, I know it's real good.
So so back to what's the favorite one you want to trap in some other state, or tomorrow somebody calls you, where would it be?
Well, like this wolf back here, I am going to Montana in January to hunt or trap wolves with my buddy Paul. So that's going to be huge. I mean, huge. That's going to be fun.
Can you send me your address and social security number so I could take out an insurance policy? That's just, you know, like Matt. I mean, you know, Matt is in the lower part of the state, and you know, down there's just gators everywhere, and it's just like, whatever. And I'm sure up there, that's just a wolf, you know. That, but me,
there's grizzlies up there.
Yeah, like
but the thing about Montana is for the wolf season for trapping, they don't open it until the grizzlies are denned up, so it doesn't open at the same time every year. So we won't be able to trap. He'll be filming for the TV show for next season early on, and so he should be done filming in January. So that's what I'm hoping to probably go out there in January. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to be out there.
I imagine that's going to be probably beautiful. You better take some good video while you're out there.
Yeah. Have you ever seen any of my elk hunting videos out in Wyoming and Colorado?
No, because I mean, up till, I don't know, 2 months ago, I never heard of you. So I mean, that's same with you. 2 months ago, you never heard of no RD.
I'd say go back and look at my last elk hunt. It was in Wyoming. That's some really beautiful country there too.
Yeah, like I said, I'm catching up on everything. Like, I'm learning all kind of new things and meeting new people. I mean, probably the same way with you when you started your YouTube channel. I mean, both of us are in a small community of hunters. So I mean, like, when you get on YouTube, you know, like my son, you know, he just scrolls and watches all these Mr. Beast and these people that's got millions and millions of followers, and they're
Right.
just doing crazy stuff. We're actually trying to go for like that many people on YouTube. So
Right.
it's crazy the people that I have met, and
Oh, I'll tell you, it's only going to get better for you, man. I'm telling you that I don't make, I make, I mean, I can't even tell you how little money I make, but the friends that I have met, I mean, it's just priceless. I mean, like Boxy's in here. I met him. I went out to Pennsylvania. It was 9 hours for me to drive from here to Pennsylvania to meet all them guys out there at that rendezvous. What a time I had, man. I mean, that's priceless. I mean, you can't undo meeting great people like that.
absolutely. I agree with you, and that's why I like duck hunting so much versus like deer hunting. Like me and you, we could go duck hunting and have a conversation and chill and eat a biscuit and a Pop-Tart and
Yeah.
everything else out there, and you can't do that with deer hunting.
Yeah,
So I
I
mean,
duck hunt
it's
and goose hunt and stuff, but not as much as you or Matt or anybody like that. But
yeah, I love goose is my favorite. I mean, I tell you, I could be in the Walmart parking lot and hear a goose fly over, and it's like I don't know, like a kid in a candy store. I mean, I just love hearing geese.
I like hunting them, but I just don't have the time. I mean, there's I only have so much time for so many hobbies, and trapping takes up most of it.
That's what my wife tells me. She said I got too many hobbies, and they're all expensive. I don't.
Every one of them is expensive. Everything I do is expensive. No hunting, trapping, everything.
I don't agree with her. I don't see it, but But I mean, in fairness, isn't like every hobby expensive? I mean, other than like scrapbooking or maybe like putting puzzles together. I mean, for the most part, every hobby is expensive, especially if you're dedicated to it. I mean, fishing, you're going to get the best rods. Yeah. I mean, the best boat. Go. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, like the last video I watched, you went catfishing. Y'all didn't go out there with those zip code 33s.
That didn't cost me nothing. That didn't cost me nothing. He had the boat and he had all the rods and everything. So that was a good deal. I mean, I stumbled onto a great deal there.
But that's what I'm saying though. With a hobby though, you're gonna spend money, and if you love doing it, I mean, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. That's where we all bond. The outdoors and the passion of being outdoors.
Yeah. Speaking of that was fun. That was a blast.
See, that
kid took me fishing, man. He didn't have to do that, and he did. And man, I had so much fun. I mean, me and him are great friends now. I mean, what a good deal that was.
I like you said, I have met like so many people that I would have never met in my life just by the YouTube channel. And I mean, like literally now I'm calling people from states away and talking to them like we've been friends for 20 years, but it's crazy. But yeah, I love catfishing. If I could only pick one fish to catfish, it would be catfish.
Right. That was the first time I ever caught blue cats. That was awesome.
I mean, you think you got a whale on there, and you're bringing them in, and it's like a 10-pounder.
Well, that was 26. Did you hear me tell him he had his handle on the wrong side?
Yeah.
I don't know what hand do you reel with as a spinning reel?
On the right hand.
You reel with your right hand?
Yes.
No, so you're backwards too. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know.
So no, my friend is right-handed, and all his are on the left side too. And every time
we did a poll the other night on another fishing channel, and I would bet it was 80% probably that reeled with their left hand with a spinning reel.
Really? My friend is in like me and duck hunting and waterfowl. He is that big in catfishing and big competition catfishing. And every time we go, I take his reels. and I'll take the nut and I'll switch that handle to the other side.
I'll tell you what. And he said he would have switched it if he'd have known that. If I'd have known I was going to catch that 26-pound blue cat on that rod, I would have already had that switched.
I'm like, man, I just cannot do it left-handed. He's like, well, you're right-handed. You're supposed to be pulling with your right hand. I'm like, dude, it's backwards. It just can't click. And when he ain't looking, I'll take that handle off and switch it.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to, man. I was struggling. trying to reel them. It was fun, though.
Yeah, I get that right hand going, boy. But yeah, me and him had that conversation too. I'm like, you're doing it wrong. He's like, no, you're doing it wrong. But it is crazy. Just
even my twin brother. I got a twin brother, and he completely opposite of me. He did the same thing. He was using one of my rods. He goes, your handle's on the wrong side. I'm like, you're doing it wrong, and we're twins.
I guess it's just a mindset thing. And it is crazy. One little nut and you just slide it off and put it on the other side and it just works.
Yeah, I guess it's just, I don't know. Then you see the ones with the spinning reel turn around backwards. And
oh, yeah. No.
I thought about doing it just for the video, but I didn't want to look like a complete idiot. But I made sure I let it known to him that he had his handle on the wrong side.
That is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to start, polling people fishing, but because it's not standard across the board. I mean, I don't know. It's one of them who knows questions. Half full, half empty kind of question, I guess, whoever's looking at it.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Let's see, what else did I have on here? Man, I had a bunch wrote down. I think we covered a lot of it.
Yeah, I was trying to. I got it all written down. I was trying to write down answers for you, but I knew pretty much what I was going to let you know. But
so, is each one of them have a season? Like, is coyote year round up there? I mean, like here, coyote's pretty much hunting year round. But I mean, trapping.
We can hunt them year round here, but trapping season for coyote in Illinois is November 10th through February 15th.
Yeah, that's right in the middle of your duck season, ain't it?
And then we can trap beaver and otter till March 31st.
So I don't know if you've seen the weather forecast. They're predicting it's going to be colder, and in the South, we might get some snow this year. But how's that? How do you think that's going to affect your trapping this year?
I hope it's cold. I hope it's cold as hell up here, because then the ground's froze and I can drive wherever I want to go. But last year was terrible with that mud.
Yeah. I watched your videos talking about like, normally I could drive all the way up here. Now I'm just wore out walking.
Oh yeah, that, and or drive my Ranger, so I got to pull that on a trailer and drive it to the next spot, unload it, go, and just throwing mud everywhere, and it's just a pain.
So when you going to upgrade to a drone?
Oh, you know what? I've been talking about that. Especially after this season, I would love to get a drone because, then I wouldn't have to drive through them muddy fields. Yeah. If there's a coyote trap at the other end of the field, all I do is fly that down there. If there ain't nothing in it, fly it back and get going.
Yeah. I'm dead serious about it. But like you said, for a good drone, that's going to be another $8,000 or, $1,500.
Yeah, I know.
But the time,
trust me, that's crossed my mind for years, a couple years, especially last year with that mud, that really, really crossed my mind, not only just for the footage, but just for the ease of helping me check traps.
Absolutely. And the technology for drones 10 years ago, they have changed. They have changed so much. And Jay popped in. That's I never knew Jay up to this channel. That's what we were talking about a few minutes ago. Crazy thing. But, the drone technology is so much better now. You could just let go of the controls and it just stays there. A couple of years ago, let's just say 5 years ago, you had to pay big money for that kind of technology. Them DJJs was about the only one that had the home feature, and now these El Cheapos folding. I mean, the wings just fold in, and you carry the whole thing in your pocket.
I was asked by a drone company maybe a year ago. It was probably at least a year ago to do a review on one of their drones.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that they wanted me to do a review on was like a kid's drone, and it was kind of garbage. And
Right.
And they were wanting me to do this and that. And I just told them I'm not interested. Well, then I talked to a friend of mine. He's got a YouTube channel. And he got a really nice drone. He goes, yeah, they contacted me too. And they said the same thing. He said, well, I need something bigger and better. And they sent it to him. I'm like, man, I didn't play that very well.
Yeah, it's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, I think that would be awesome. So, but each state's different on drones too. Some of them you gotta have a license to fly, and especially recording
certain sizes or whatever.
Right.
If they get so big, then you got to have a license. I don't know all that, but
it'd be my luck. Like there would be some rule in DNR that says you can't check or something. Because I think during waterfowl season, I'm pretty sure you can't you can't flush ducks with them. You can't you could look at a pond up in the air, but you can't use that drone to flush them up or make them.
Oh, right. I agree with that. But
right. But yeah, I think that'd be awesome. And
I think it'd still be legal for checking traps. I mean, I have to legally put my eyes on that trap every 24 hours. But I mean, that's putting my eyes on it if I fly a drone over it and there's nothing in it.
Yeah.
Or if there is something in it, then I go take it out. But I mean, that's legal. I mean, that's physically putting my eyes on it, even if it's just on a screen.
Well, I mean, obviously, you would definitely be able to see a coyote in a trap with a drone. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah. I'm all for it. If you need somebody to help you motivate to get you one, I'm all for it.
All right.
No pressure, right?
Right. No, yeah, I've definitely considered it. Trust me.
So if anybody knows anybody that needs a sponsorship, Mark needs a sponsorship on a drone. Let it be known.
Let it be known.
So if you're a company and you have a drone, my man needs a drone.
We'll see. It'll happen sooner or later.
And please save the footage of the first time you're flying it around and you running it back to you and it's chasing you. Let's say Botsy wrote something about game lands.
You can run them on private or to check.
Right. I'm pretty sure that's the same way in South Carolina. I don't think you can run any over WMA game management land either.
Right. I see. I understand that part.
I mean, that would make
everything I trap is private ground anyway.
Right. Well, I think I did want to bring over before we get off. Let's bring over the YouTube channel here. So this is your YouTube channel. I'm gonna make it bigger here. There we go. So tell us about the YouTube channel. Obviously, way up here, Mark wants you to hit that subscribe button. So this is his channel, and here's the catfish in his latest video.
That was fun.
You can see his putting up his wood in his man cave there that's in the background. Any cool videos that stick out that we're scrolling through here?
Oh, that one right there, old 3-foot. It doesn't have the views that I think it deserves. That's probably my best trapping video yet. The one to the left of what you got highlighted.
Oh, right here.
That one right there. That I put in the title that you can't make this up, and you can't. I mean, what I did in that video, what happened to me on the very last day of trapping season for beaver, you can't make it up.
We're gonna watch. We're not gonna click through the ads because we're gonna watch the ads so that the person that made this video gets some money. Let's see. So You calling him 3 foot here?
No, that's the one that attacked me right there. But I caught 3 foot at the very end.
All right.
Do you have any volume on it, or you can't turn volume on?
Yeah, I do. I muted it for the ad.
This is the one that attacked me. I just put a short out over this about this today.
Can you hear the sound?
I can hear it a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's gonna. Is it gonna make noise if I can hear it?
We'll see what happens on the other.
No, I just wondered if you could hear it.
Perfectly. So right here, I had my caster mount. I got another one over there. I think you can see.
I'm trying to get up to the point where you say he attacks you.
Small dam here.
Keep going.
Yeah, I think we're already past it.
Oh, really?
Zoom in here. Get to the first trap. See the drowning rod going down there. I see a beaver out there in deep water. That drowning rod worked perfectly. So.
Right, I need to back up a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it was right at the very beginning when I first walked down there.
All right, everybody.
I think it's right here.
There, when I said I couldn't see that trap over there, I thought I seen the drowning rod.
Yeah, it might even be before this. But watch this part. This is.
I come over here underneath the bridge.
This is a good part of it.
Here's that other
I mean, of why.
Oh, it's got a foot in it.
Wow.
Shit, I lost one. Another, he got on
that trap was on the other side of that bridge.
Really?
Beaver pulled it completely out, and I was lucky enough to find it.
That's weird.
And then I ended up catching him on the very last day of season. It was only 3 feet.
Shit.
Wow.
But I got a video of him on this same video, alive. I was checking traps, and he come up and crawled over the dam, went right by me, and he was still alive, and I could tell he only had 3 feet.
Yeah, when you said that, I had a flashback of like Happy Gilmore with the alligator and Chubbs waving Chubbs waving at the alligator, and that just popped in my head when you said he went over the dam and only had 3 feet. That was a Chubbs moment.
Yeah.
We need to get you a T-shirt with like a 3-legged one. So what did you say at the end here?
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Right. Yeah. I'll go back a little bit further. There was a tornado coming. It was the very last day of trapping season. I was trying to get the traps pulled because there was a tornado coming. And this was the very last trap. I mean, you can't make this up.
Holy cow! Look at that! That's the one that was missing the foot.
Oh, three leg.
Yeah. And I can't believe it. I mean, I had so many trapping videos that got so many more views than that, and that's probably my favorite.
54 pounds.
You can't make it up. You can't make that shit up.
So, did the tornado come through?
Oh yeah, yeah. It hit me. I just got my roof just got replaced last Friday. I mean,
wow.
Fighting with the insurance company and this whole time, and it finally got replaced last Friday. Yeah, it destroyed a lot of homes and everything around here.
So was this one? I got a bunch of cords in 5 months ago. So this was last year.
Yep, that was March 31st. That was my very last day of trapping.
Well, that's pretty cool that y'all bonded there at the very end there.
I don't think he thought so, but man, and I got some good beaver trappers like Dan Davis down in Mississippi. He sent me beaver lure and everything, and that he makes. And he told me once I caught that one and I took his foot off, he said, if you catch that beaver that you already took one of his feet off, he said, then you've graduated. You're a beaver trapper. And I called him right after that. I was leaving there. I called him. I'm like, hey, I graduated. I got him.
Wow. That's crazy. And then, literally, that tornado could have completely changed the whole scenario around through there too. So
Yeah, I was trying to get out of there. It was coming. I mean, it was like less than an hour from then, an hour after I pulled that beaver out, and that was the last trap I pulled. And I just pulled up on my driveway to get home here, and it hit. It hit my house, and I jumped. I was still in the Jeep with it running on the driveway. I backed up and took off. And
that's crazy.
It just wiped us out.
That's crazy. But I mean, you got all kind of interesting videos on there. I'm sure there's a few of the coyotes on here that
the first otter is real special to me, but I mean that was so cool trying to catch that otter, and then I finally caught one. But I mean, there's one video that I will say, and it's kind of a long one, but and don't worry about playing it. It was from two seasons ago when I caught. It'd be in here probably. My best coyote check ever. I caught 3 that day. That was the best day I've ever had, and it was on Christmas Eve day. It was so cool.
Well, we started the podcast off and the live here off. Somebody asked about the beards, and now we're 2 years in, and it's still in these videos.
It's not as long. It's not as long.
We're gonna have to go way back if we're gonna find. I mean,
shorter there.
Yeah, it's a little bit shorter.
There's a goatee.
Oh,
that's when I first started YouTube
3 years ago. So there you have it. We now know, maybe 3.5 years ago.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I think we covered a lot, and I appreciate you on. How does people follow you? I know on YouTube. We already said YouTube. You got anything else on social media?
No, that's all. I'm not on Facebook or anything else. So
all right.
I don't have hardly enough time to do what I do on YouTube, but I do it. But
yeah.
Or the know-how on. I'm not an IT guy.
I'm telling you, some days I struggle myself. I ain't even gonna lie. Some days I have to YouTube how to YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, it's constantly changing. I mean, like I said, when we was getting started, I mean, there was like, oh look, there's a new feature in StreamYard, or there's a new here, and know, like the icon or something would be moved, and you'd be like, where did it go? I know it was here, but I appreciate you coming on. So if you're watching this later, as in next week or the week after, go check out Mark J. Larson Outdoors on YouTube. And if you are listening to this on the podcast, once this becomes the podcast,
Foxy,
go check out go check him out on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Share his videos. So I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, I just want to wish you good luck with everything, man. I appreciate you having me on here, and I wish nothing but the best for you.
I learned a lot, man. I'm telling you, I come into this as in knowing absolutely nothing, and I saw a couple other people said on the chat that they learned some stuff too.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions.
I can imagine. I would imagine, just like what you said, you started out with people just watching your videos, learning out how do you do this, how do you do that. I mean, that's one great thing about YouTube. I mean, somebody's probably done it. It's literally, you might just have to search for that topic. But I mean, how many people YouTube how to fix something these days? I mean, I do it all the time. So
that's all I do. If I don't know how to fix it.
Absolutely. I mean, it was crazy. Like, I got an F-250, and the warning light came up on it. It said, check coolant additive. I'm like, man, I've been driving for 30-something years. What the heck is a coolant additive? I didn't even know until I got on YouTube what a coolant additive is. For these new diesel trucks, they got test strips, like a pH balance, like what you were saying. They use test strips like for a pool, and you dip it in your radiator, and it comes out, and and it tells you how much additive you need to add to the antifreeze.
Never heard of that.
I'm like, man, I grew up. It was only antifreeze and water, and you mixed them together, and you took the little bubble, and you could tell if it was freezing or not. But I'm telling you, the new diesels are now got stuff so the aluminum block doesn't get corrosion in the inside.
Never heard of it.
It's the craziest thing ever. Just something else.
None of my stuff's that new.
Well, the F-250 got serviced, and it is not cheap on a diesel at all. So I feel sorry for the people that actually have to, drive diesels to make a living. But no, it sits there. The fuel's too expensive. I mean, I just drive what we call the Home Depot truck, trash truck kind of. I mean, I would rather drive the F-250, but things are just too expensive. So it just sits there until something big needs to be hauled, and then she's ready to eat. But until then, I have to look at her. I have to look at it when I walk by the carport and be like, not today. Not today.
All right. I hear you. And both of mine are over 20 years old, so they get driven all the time. So,
hey, them old Jeeps in that video, like you got.
Oh man, that Jeep, that thing has been a peach, man. I'll tell you, I paid $1,500 for that. Probably, I don't know, over 10 years ago for sure. It's a '98. It's 25 years old. It's got a V8 in it, 318. All-time four-wheel drive, and it won't. You can go through anything with that, but man, I have just beat it to death. But I'm just hoping to get one more trapping season out. I've been saying that for the last 4 years.
But. Yeah, but I'm sure that every part is available in the junkyard for that. It's like the old square body Chevrolets. I mean,
yeah,
them Silverados, and like. One good thing about them, I mean, you go to junkyard, and I mean, parts of a Tahoe works for the Silverado.
No, even my truck, my Silverado's 20 years old. It's an 03, but like I said, it's in pretty good shape. I don't drive that as much. I drive that Jeep every day.
Right. That's about how what I call the Home Depot truck. It's a 2009 Silverado, but I mean, you just drive it.
Right.
But I appreciate you.
That's a whole other subject.
That's right.
We'll be here for days. We start talking about vehicles.
Botsy wrote something. Those old Jeeps are hard to kill. I'm telling you, them Grand Cherokees.
Yeah, it runs great, but it's not much left holding it together.
That comment, man, and I commented on that video of when you open that back trunk.
That crutch.
The back trunk comes up, boop, and a crutch.
Yeah. I put new shocks on it last year, right before trapping season, because I was using that crutch to release fox too. And then.
So was the crutch yours, or did you just pick it up on the side of the road and be like?
No, it was mine. I got two of them, but I just needed something to hold that gate up, and I seen it laying there in the garage, and I thought, man, that should work, and it's adjustable, and it was perfect.
The other one ain't holding the hood, is it?
No, the hood works. I put new shocks on it. We're good now.
Oh man, some of them shocks are expensive. Yeah. Them gas shocks some of them are expensive. But.
Yeah, I got a pretty good deal, so we're good on that now.
So the next video, no crutch.
No, there hasn't been one video with the crutch for a while because I put new shocks on it before last trapping season, and then I was using that crutch to release fox, and then Judith and Dan Davis was afraid I was going to get bit. They're down Mississippi, so Dan made me a catch pole. So you'll be seeing that this year on this trapping season. If I have to release any fox, I'll use a catch pole instead of the crutch.
All right, well that's pretty cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Y'all go check out his channel. Show him some love. So, all right, until next time, I'll see y'all.